a train whistle, a siren call that different folks respond to in different ways. These backyard engineers get their fill of clickety-clack by creating miniature railway worlds. Others use their own leg power to ride the rails. Leg power and a seriously customized mountain bike. Then there's these railrodders. Best place to find them is at the World Championship handcar races. No, you're not seeing things. Those are bicycles riding the rails. The people who build and ride them call them rail bikes. Mike Rohde of Olympia, Washington, has spent years trying to clear the bureaucratic track for his invention. He spent just as long learning how to build them so they don't derail. Mike's love affair with rail bikes got off to a rocky start. At the age of 6, he had a bike accident that should have put him off two-wheelers for life. Even by university, he showed no signs of being a bike lover.
Got a music degree, and while I was there, I got sort of interested in musical instruments and building things, and then I went into the Peace Corps in Kenya. And while I was in Kenya, I visited a village, and the chief had a well that was set up so that it would pump water using his bicycle. And it was the first time I'd really been that close to appropriate technology, and it just really knocked me out. I just thought it was the greatest thing. So when I got out of the Peace Corps and came back here, I did some research about human-powered machinery mostly.
His research led him to a book called Pedal Power and a glimpse into the little-known world of rail biking. Mike couldn't wait to ride the rails. After all, here was biking without the need to balance. What he did need, however, was a stretch of track that was user-friendly. Not the easiest thing to come by, as Mike found out.
After I built my first rail bike, it became a problem of, where do you ride this thing? There were people that I called up and they just hang up on me. They wouldn't even listen to me. I talked to somebody from one of the large railroads trying to find out if they had some track that wasn't being used very much. And before the guy hung up on me, he said, it'll take an act of God in Congress for us ever to talk to you.
It wasn't Congress that answered Mike's prayers, but the city of Portland, Oregon. They told Mike to come on aboard, as long as he figured a way to coexist with the trolley. After all, these tracks were laid exclusively for trolley traffic back in the 20s. Mike's second stroke of luck? James Epley, a kindred spirit who lives along these tracks and who volunteered to coordinate traffic. He's seen Mike's dream take shape from the beginning.
He had an upright mountain bike design to start with an outrigger and ballast so you don't flip off the tracks. And it kind of evolved to a recumbent style with an outrigger, and then the double recumbent that you see today is kind of the latest improvement on that. Well, I'll tell you what, let me push these across the way there. We'll just get them across the intersection.
All right.
And we'll take a cruise up to, say, OPB and back.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Build a rail bike and the curious will come. Ask for a ride and James can't say no.
Woohoo! How's that, huh? Like, this is my day,
But what keeps us on the tracks is the guidance hardware. They're large skateboard wheels that are actually set in at a 45-degree angle, and they're adjusted so that the bikes cannot derail off the track. And we're essentially just riding on the tires. Brakes are on your right. Yours aren't hooked up. This is a prototype only.
Okay.
Gears here on your left, but all you really have to do is just pedal and we're set.
You're doing the gears.
Oh, you do the gears too. You got your own set, so if you want to just match up,
Oh, we can do different gears?
you can do different gears.
Oh, what a concept.
So you're ready? Get moving.
Woo! Right.
All right. My gears are
This is what Mike and James would like to do on a bigger scale. Public rail bike tours.
For those that are interested in ecotourism, here's a nice way of rolling through a scenic area without doing any damage to the trails or the wildlife nearby. You're just self-contained on rails, and you don't have to trample down the plant life. It's all human-powered, so it doesn't do anything to the environment.
Coming soon to your neighborhood? Probably not. This is the only one in North America.
Damn, my leg.
How was that, Rod?
That's a workout. That's great.
Want to do it again?
No, not right.
Somebody else will have to go with
I'll
you.
be back tomorrow.
That's just the kind of reaction that makes Mike optimistic.
I like to take people out, particularly for the first time, because people seem to get such a charge out of it. As far as designing goes, it's better for me to watch other people ride than it is for me to ride, because the challenge was to come up with something that is just about bulletproof, that anybody could get on and pedal. I think the biggest problem from my standpoint is that I don't want to see people buy them and ride them without getting permission, because it's obviously a really bad idea. If you don't get hit by a train, you might get arrested.
Mike has 5 words of advice for anyone contemplating illegal rail biking. Don't even think about it.
Excellent.
Yeah,
How was it?
good.
Okay, well,
That was really fun.
hey, what'd you think?
It's great. It's awesome. Most fun I've ever had next to dragon boating.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird contraption. Never seen anything like it. Probably never will again. Wow, what a gorgeous day. I cannot believe the scenery.
Riding the rails on a bicycle built for 2. Great way to spend a Sunday afternoon, providing there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Ah, a good old steam locomotive hauling a freight train. You don't see that much anymore, unless you're lucky enough to live in the Pacific Northwest and to know Dave Goodson. Dave's late today, which is highly unusual since he's the station master, and he hates to see locomotives dispatched before he gets there. But you can't keep these engineers waiting. They've been coming here every Friday night for years.
Well, hi there. We're here to run trains today. Come in here bombing down the street in my 1949 Willys with a 1950 Mercury 3/4 race flathead V8, disc brakes, rack pinion. Boy, we got it all. Tim the tool man, you got nothing on me.
Dave's backyard has more trains than Grand Central Station, and it's authentic, right down to the marshalling yard and the roundhouse. Check out the main engine shed. These overgrown kids aren't kidding around. Most of the locomotives are custom built by these backyard engineers themselves. Authentic right down to the bells and whistles.
Oh my goodness, look at this. More trains than brains.
Dave has tried to replicate the narrow gauge railway you would have found in Colorado in the 30s.
The single toot that you just heard is him announcing to the world, and the railroad in general, that he's departing. Once he does that, he has clearance to depart.
Dave was barely out of diapers when he got his first Lionel train set. He's never looked back. Then, not long ago, Dave found himself with a lot more time to devote to his trains.
Well, I used to do auto repair. I used to do mobile auto repair until about 1.5 years ago, and some guy, bless his soul, decided that a stop sign didn't mean stop.
Dave got T-boned, and it left him with carpal tunnel syndrome in both hands. On the other hand, his feisty spirit is left intact.
You guys could just sit around, you gotta run trains.
We're going to sit around.
All right, that's good. Get somebody else to run trains. Come on, let's go. Train run.
Dave's got a personality. Yeah, he's got a personality, good personality. As long as he likes you.
You will see a sign that says, warning, smoking required in this area. If you persist in not smoking, you will be asked to leave. Of course, we never asked anybody to leave.
Dave's Rebel Rail Club is not only politically incorrect, it's electrically incorrect. These trains shut down for nobody.
We've actually run this railroad through 3 power outages. Because we're radio controlled with onboard batteries, we've had power outages. Some crazy guy runs into a power pole, knocks the power out, lightning strikes someplace, who knows? The power goes out. And the people say, oh, we can't run trains. The lights are out. And I say, can you see the track in front of you with the headlight? Well, yeah. I said, then keep running trains. So we keep running trains until the power comes back on. The only real casualty of that is the coffee pot gets cold, but it'll get warm again. This is my brother, Peter. Now, I don't know if you can tell that there's any resemblance. We sincerely hope there's not, because we wouldn't want anybody to think that we were related. This is my older brother.
Oh, sure, brothers make good playmates. But who are the rest of these guys?
Who are these guys? Architects, Boeing firefighters, Boeing engineers, construction workers.
Being a firefighter, I'm a good guy. So I don't get called names.
How user-friendly is this rail yard? So friendly that middle-aged men with wonky knees don't have to bust a gut bending over to play trains.
You can see how simple this is with it elevated. We can just reach in and uncouple the cars and throw the switches.
Getting the most out of your second childhood is a fine art. One that's well worth handing off to the next generation. And that's a priority down at Dave's Rail Yard. Excuse me, young man, how long have you been an engineer in training?
I started at the end of last summer with my dad, and it's just, doing it almost every Friday night, and I like it a lot.
Don't go getting the idea that this is just aimless joyriding. Each train is dispatched to a precise location according to waybills that Dave prints up and hands out to each engineer.
And this is where the log trains come from the sawmill, bring out empty log cars, set them out, and take the loaded log cars, which are actually loaded with these logs. These wonderful Pacific Northwest logs. And the last time I looked, I saw no spotted owls in them, so I think we're okay with the environmentalists. And they take the loaded logs back down to the sawmill.
Of course, when a hobby becomes this realistic, there's always a danger that the hobbyists will take it for real.
Well, it's running a real train. Isn't it? Isn't that what it is? That's what it looks like to me. It's a real train.
So, Dave, how does the wife feel about a backyard full of real trains?
She tolerates it. She likes the gardening part, and she puts the plants out, and it's good.
So you told her about your expansion plans?
We don't want to tell her about the trains going through the front yard. We don't want to tell her about the bridges across the driveway. We don't want to tell her that, do we? We don't want that on film. My wife finds out about that, I'm dead meat. I am dead meat. I'd have to move to Canada.
Now you're talking. How about a branch line right to my backyard? Port Moody, British Columbia. The first Trans-Canada train journey ended right here in 1886. This town's got a train legacy, and they mean to celebrate it. Which is not easy, but then nothing about railroads is easy. These folks know all about that. They're here for the World Championship handcar races. Let's meet a few competitors, starting with the Steel Horsemen, employees for the Union Pacific Railway in Chicago.
We're all in the engineering department. We build tracks, bridges, tear those apart, fix derailments, fight snowstorms, and race hand cars.
And then there's Crude Iron, defending champs, odds-on favorites, and momentarily distracted by another entry.
We're the 4x4s.
So named because?
We have 16 kids between us. Four each. Yeah.
4 kids apiece. Well, that means you paid your dues, ladies. Why come here for more punishment? What's that all about?
The lactic acid burn and that whole thing. It's all about, I don't know, what do you think, you guys? Like,
True. It's a rush.
It's a rush.
Today, it's an adrenaline rush that lasts about 45 seconds over 300 meters. But early in the last century, these handcars were mechanical mules, transporting four-man crews up and down the track. Top speed, about 25 miles per hour. Sounds leisurely, but the handcar isn't as simple as it looks.
Okay, now I'm going to set the bar for you, okay, Heck? Okay? Bar's going up, bar's going up, bar's going up. Now, guys, you've never done this before. The bar is moving all the time. Never let go of the bar. Both hands on the bar, because it will hurt you. No glasses, unless you got a strap on them. Okay. Because if you lose them, your reaction is to grab them. Okay. And then you'll get thrown off the car, okay? That's why we no hats, no glasses, no nothing. Or any jewelry, you know, any loose jewelry, take it off, please. Okay? Let's get on and let's try it, guys. Ready, set.
You set the bar. And what the setting the bar is getting the bar to where your team thinks they're going to get the fastest start. Okay, you set the bar, then your team gathers, and it's trying to get everyone focused on what's coming up. It's 30 seconds, 33 seconds of hell.
All the more hell if you're a greenhorn. But here's a team of upstarts to keep your eye on. They're young, they're tough, and they think they've got what it takes.
We're the Handcar Hogs. We got together about a couple weeks ago. About a week prior to the race, we had a couple of practices. First-time racers ever, all of us, all local boys, and just actually came out to have some fun.
First-timers soon find they've got a lot to learn about the finer points of handcar racing. Always ready to coach them are seasoned pumpers like Kim Anderson.
The problem they usually run into is putting the wrong people in the wrong places on the car. There is a special spot. Everyone will find it. It's either heavy people in the back, the stronger ones in the back. If you spin too much because you have too much power, you got to put those heavier people in the front. But they usually work it out within the year, and then they figure they will find something that works for them.
And if Kim had one warning, beware the bar.
If you let go of that bar, and that's going to just come whack you right in the chest and throw you off.
Some of these racers look like they might be serious fitness freaks.
And then you've got people like my team who don't do nothing. We should do something. We should all lose weight. We should all go to the gym. But we don't do nothing. But we still win, so.
Day one is a grueling round of qualifying heats. For teams with an eye on the championship, now's the time to dig deep. Or, as they say around here, pump till you puke. After all, winning the finals comes down to a few hundredths of a second.
Tomorrow, we'll have to watch wheels spin, and we had the fastest time earlier today. We got beat by 0.3 of a second. And we had some wheel slip problems, so we're going to do a little change in torque on the bar when we come out of the starting blocks, so we picked that up.
My money's still on crude iron. They're probably going to be six-time world championship for their division. My division, we're looking like squat right now. We're not doing too good, but hey, tomorrow's a different day. Tomorrow's finals. Today's just qualifying. Get a good sleep and hopefully do better tomorrow.
So come on, guys, shape up. We got a championship here tomorrow. The World Championship handcar races in Port Moody, British Columbia are quickly weeding out the also-rans, including Chicago's Steel Horsemen.
On the west track, Steel Horseman with a time of 34.40.
Looks like we're in second place in this group. And we're second place in the men's elite group also. So we're on the edges. A little disappointed at this point because we're trying to go for a second better, and we lost a half a second on the negative side. But it's still fun. It's still for the sport.
Right on.
Defending champs Crude Iron find themselves facing those upstart Hogs in the final. Age against beauty. Anybody care to place a bet?
1, 2, 3. Hogs!
Going into the afternoon races, there's only a difference of 0.3 of a second between the top 3 teams. So one person takes a break, you know, how many tenths of a second
It's very easy to take a break because it's very tiring, even if you're in the best shape. You know, when you get close to the end, especially if you're ahead of the other team, you feel like slacking off sometimes. But when you see everybody else committing and everyone else going hard, you know, you don't want to let your boys down, and that's what pushes you faster. And I think that's what a team game it is.
On the west track, the Hogs with the time of 33.607. On the east track, Crude Iron, 33.097.
It's Crude Iron over Handcar Hogs by a split second. Now that's railrodding. The Romance of the Railroad, a siren song heard differently by different folks. Michael Rohde followed the lure down this trolley line in search of his rail bike dream. For Dave Goodson, it's a song sung with a bunch of weekend engineers. And for the folks who show up for the World Handcar Championships, who's got time for singing? Pump! Pump!
You can feel the ground is shaking. It kind of feels like Judgment Day. You can hear the whistle blowing through the